There are sounds of activity once again coming from the old Interwoven Mills plant in downtown Martinsburg, but it's not the hum of hundreds of looms. It's the clatter of new construction. Built in the 1890s and expanded over the years, the facility was the first electrically powered textile mill in the country, and at its peak employed around 3,000 workers. Interwoven Mills closed for good in 1976, and the property has sat mostly idle since then. But that's about to change.
This is over a $100 million investment in downtown Martinsburg. When we're completed, it's a three-phase project. When we're completed, we're going to have a total of over 400 apartments and 5,000 square feet of commercial space. We've programmed the commercial space to be either a restaurant, destination restaurant, or a brewery.
But decades of neglect have created some challenges.
It's weathered a lot. There's been a lot of structural damage that's occurred over the last 40 plus years due to holes in the roof. Windows, we have a lot of the windows are in bad shape. We're going to end up replacing most of the windows. Roof work, it's also challenging just doing a project of this magnitude so far away from our office back in Richmond, Virginia.
The project site covers just under 12 acres, with around 370,000 square feet of interior space.
It's a pretty large project, and it's a lot more expensive to renovate than it is to build new. We also had to deal with environmental side. Fortunately, there had been some previous phase twos done by the West Virginia Land Bank, which made that process a little bit easier, but we still had to go through that process. We've also filed for VRP because it is a brownfield.
The VRP, or Voluntary Remediation Program, is a DEP program that helps property owners clean up abandoned former industrial properties and return them to productive use.
Reusing a facility such like this, something that's been here for over 100 years, you have a lot of historic architecture. It's kind of a landmark in downtown. So it's good to preserve those and to reuse them. We're not dragging in and making as much of an environmental impact as if we just knocked it down and built some modern skyscraper or whatever and losing a historical landmark. We're both preserving that landmark and rehabbing it at the same time to be able to keep that landmark, put it to better use.
The Voluntary Remediation Program helps property owners and developers assess potential environmental issues associated with previous use of the property. With this property, developers got some good news.
Pretty much all of it was very minimal to begin with, which is what gives us the ability to look at residential use with this. Through the Voluntary Remediation Program, we take an approach at remediating old brownfield sites based on the risk to human health. Since these were so low on this site, we would be able to take the proper measures to mitigate those risks and make it safe for residential housing as well as commercial use.
We're going to save as much as we can. We are going to save a lot of the floors throughout. We'll be able to refinish some of them, not all of them. There's a lot of structural damage that we're encountering, so we're going to have to replace those areas completely. All the existing masonry walls, we're going to be able to restore. We're going to replace most of the windows just because they've gotten so aged. The roof structure, we're going to preserve that, the exposed trusses. We are going to have to replace all the roofs. We're going to keep the mass, and we're going to respect existing architecture when we do restore it, though. So it's going to look very similar to how it was when it was first built when we are finished with the project. We've been renovating buildings for over 20 years. This is really our specialty, and we're just really happy to do this project in West Virginia. It's an amazing building. There's a lot of history here. At one time, this was the largest sock factory in the world. So that's kind of neat just by itself. And it's such an integral part of downtown Martinsburg. It's really satisfying for us to take what's really like the worst part of downtown and make it the best. So I really think it's going to have a really great impact on the community. And we think it's going to be really neat when it's all done. It's really spectacular building.
To find out more about the DEP's Voluntary Remediation Program, visit our website, dep.wv.gov. For Environment Matters, I'm Mike Huff in Martinsburg. Thanks for watching.